Okay, welcome back. This is Trisha at Whispering Pines Micro Farm in Maine. Today I'm going to be making some decisions on keepers and calling. And before anyone flips out, when I call, it means pet out, my Lionheads. So I find good pet homes for them. So I have a litter of REWs, and I also have a small litter that has a black tort and a black in it. She only had two. She's a little bit older though. She's about 3 years old. So she has not given me very big litters lately. I personally don't care for big litters. I'd rather have small litters and better quality than big litters and, you know, the quality is not there. So for me, you know, 3 or 4 I'm very happy with. 2 I'm okay with. So I will also get those out. So I have 4 REWs in this litter that I'm going to show you guys today, and I'm going to make my decisions now. In all fairness, I have already looked at them and I actually have made my decision, but I'm going to go through and explain why I'm making the decisions, because I'm also going to explain a mistake that I made in this breeding. So I have a gorgeous doe that's the mama of these babies. She's got mane to die for. She won best of breed, got her first leg, first time on the table, and is gorgeous. And then I went on to show her, but I also had other ones, and she placed in the top 3 frequently, but she didn't get another leg, and she's definitely more brood quality than she is show quality. But that brings me to another subject that I haven't addressed yet that I really want to address, and that is the difference between show quality and competitive quality. Now, you know, some people are like, what is she, you know, she's making up stuff, but really there is a difference, and I'm going to show you some examples of that at the end of this video after I critique these babies for you, and just so people can understand that you can have a lot of show quality babies or animals, juniors, seniors, but that doesn't mean they're going to be competitive. So we'll talk about that in a little while, because I get a lot of questions in regards to that, so it's on my list to discuss. So this little girl here, I've already marked them. I use a Sharpie, and I mark them in the ear here. So it says D1 for doe 1. There were 3 does and one buck in this litter. She actually posed up for me pretty quick a few minutes ago when I was looking at them. So she actually is my keeper. I didn't even know that that's who I grabbed out first, but because she posed up for me quickly and settled into the pose. And to be honest with you, I'm not in love with her. I'm really not in love with her. I have better, my chestnuts are much better, but I'm going to keep her. She's my keeper out of the litter. I need another show baby, another REW show baby, so she's my keeper. She has nice short little legs in the front. She stacks up nice in a nice little square. I'm not feeling any pin bones, which is a problem that are in some bloodlines, and we all have to work on. Well, maybe not all of us. Some of us are having to work on it. But I will tell you one thing I don't care. She doesn't have the proudest pose that I talk about in my posing videos that I've done. So when I call this propping, not posing. So when I have to prop her up and she won't stay there, she wants to come back down immediately. And then when she sits in her natural pose herself without me adding that little prop, oh, she's going to give me a little bit of problem here. She's just not up in that proud pose. She's a little bit more even. She's scanning. That's something REWs do, but she's not horrible. And I'll definitely hang on to her and let her shed out and see what happens. She's got really nice, open, cute little ears. Love that. It's one of my things, as everyone by now knows if you're watching my videos. She's got a little dirty little nose though. I don't know what they're doing in there. So that's my keeper out of this litter, and I'll show you why, compared to her siblings, why I'm going to not keep them. Okay, so here's the second REW kit. This is another little doe. You might be already see she's very long in the back. Her mother is long in the back. Her mother, she's built like her mom. So she may actually be a great little show bunny as a junior, but as she grows older, she's going to continue to get, be longer in the back. And because I already recognize that, now I want to show you. Now she has no more practice posing than her sister does, which was literally about 15 minutes ago for a few minutes each one of them while I looked them over. Now watch how much she fights me to get into a pose. I'm not forcing her. I'm doing the same thing I always do if you watch my other posing videos. But her front legs, if you can see, are very long. and in her back legs makes her sit, she's not able to stack up in a square. You want them to be squared up. So for her, it's not going to be possible for her to get those front legs underneath. She'd have to tip over. She's going to tippy over in order to square her up. And I'm not going to force her, because she can't. She can't do it. She's structurally not there. She's too long in the back. Her front legs are too long, and she can't sit up. Now I can, do that, but you see where her front leg is and her back leg, her legs, they're touching here. So she just cannot be comfortable in a proper pose. Yes, as soon as I put her in what would be a proper pose, she starts fighting me. So there's no point in forcing it. So here's a thought. I see a lot of posts on Facebook where, oh, I can't get them to sit in the pose. I can't get a picture. I can't get them to sit in a pose. You got to look at the structure of the rabbit. It may not be that they cannot sit in the pose because they're not structurally capable of it. So you really have to take that into consideration when you're trying to pose these babies. These guys are between 6 and 7 weeks old. If she was structurally able to do it, she'd be sitting golden. Now there's a pose for you, but it's not a correct pose. Her legs were way too far out. So she's adorable. She's going to make someone an amazing pet. I'm sure I'll have no problem finding a pet home for her, but she is not what I consider show quality, and she's absolutely not going to be competitive because I can already tell that she's too long in the back. It's just not going to happen. Oh, she's got a little bunny berry stuck to her in here. I gotta do a better job. I was grooming earlier, right? Okay, so I'm going to put her back, and we'll look at her other two siblings. So this little boy is the only buck in the litter, and honestly, I was really hoping for a buck. Because I only have one REW buck right now. Now, he's not horrible. He sits up much easier than she does. Do you have one right here, too? What is up with the neck? In the neck, hiding bunny berry. Oh, maybe not. It was just my imagination. All right. So he is not as bad as the one I just had, but he's also not great. He's still very long in the back. He doesn't have the up and down proud pose. When he poses, which you can see, he's still much better than the one I just had. He still has a flatness. It's too low for me. He evens out too much. I want a nice upward proud pose. Is he horrible? Absolutely not. If I wasn't being so picky, I'd probably keep him longer. He definitely has more potential than the one I just showed you. But he's still not exactly what I'm wanting in what I'm looking for. So I'm probably going to pet him out. He's adorable, and again, he could be show quality, but he's not going to be what I would consider competitive. And it's very early, and a lot of breeders are going to say there's no way you can tell that right now. I could be wrong. Somebody could take this bunny and show up at a show, and I could be completely wrong. And you know what? I wouldn't care. In fact, I'd be ecstatic if that were the case, because that means my calls are actually doing well on the table. So he's not horrible, but again, I'm just not happy with his carriage. I want that proud pose, which I can show you a little bit later on my chestnuts that I'm keeping and growing out, that are only a couple weeks older than these guys. They're around 11 weeks. These guys are going on 7 weeks, and you'll see a huge difference in them. So I'm going to grab the last one out, and I'll show you that one, and we'll be done with the root. Okay, and here is the last little girl, and again, she is long in the back. She's not able to get into that nice square pose. Oh, it was very windy, very windy today. And she actually fought me a lot at the beginning as well, and I don't force them. I'm barely touching them, just my fingertips. There was somebody who commented on one of my YouTube videos that I was too rough with them, which just made me laugh. But because I'm anything, I baby my babies around, believe me. They're very much babies. So anyway, she just has too much going on here that she just cannot get into this pose. And she's not going to cooperate with me, and I don't blame her because she's uncomfortable. I'm making her uncomfortable when she tries. So there she's going to a little bit, but again, 1 foot out, 1 foot back. She's not naturally sitting in a pose because she's not comfortable. And okay, mamas. So she, again, is not as bad as the second one that I showed you. The second one is definitely my least favorite, but she's still too long in the front, in my opinion. She doesn't have that proud pose. She's still too short. And the judges do make a comment about it when they can't get up into the pose. They talk about the shoulders and what's going on with the structure of the bunny when they can't. And the bunnies on the table are all show quality, believe me. But again, the difference between quality, show quality, and competitive. So if you want to be in that top 3 consecutively, you have to be a little more picky than just show quality. So these bunnies, the three out of the 4, the 1 absolutely not, are probably going to turn out to be just fine as far as show quality goes. But I'm looking to be competitive. Now, competitive also is relative to where you are and where you're willing to go show, the region that you're in, who your competition is. You know, that all comes into play as to, you know, who's going to be placing in the top 3 all the time. But for me in New England, I have to step up my game a little bit. We have some great breeders coming along. You know, even in the past year, I see a huge difference at the shows. The last show we were at, we actually had 32 Lionheads and 6 breeders. That's great, because the last time we had anywhere near that was the Midnight Madness show, where people will travel a long ways to come. And we had 55 at that show. But usually there's only, you know, we're lucky to have 3 and 12 on the table or something like that. So, which is still respectable, but, you know, we want big tables. We want the competition. We want more breeders involved, and we want to up our game. So, that's why I'm being so picky, even though these are beautiful, beautiful babies, and I'm thrilled. But I will talk about where I made my mistake. So, Dragoste is the father of these babies, who is competitive. He is a competitive senior show buck. I'll get him out here in a second. But he is not as compact as I need him to be to pair with Shireen, who is the mother of these babies. So that was my mistake. But he is the only rude buck I had. I gave it a go. I wanted to see what I could get out of the 2 of them. But I did wind up with some long back babies. And that's my fault. It's completely my fault. So next time I'm going to breed her to my very compact black, who does have some Roo in his background, and hopefully get a Roo baby out of it that is much more compact and more competitive instead. But that was a breeder mistake. That was my mistake. Shireen has mane to die for. Dragoste has a gorgeous balanced body. He's multiple best of breed winner, best opposite, best opposite variety, best opposite. I continue to show him, and but it wasn't the right pair. Even though they both come from champion bloodlines, putting them together is not making me champion rabbits. This was her first litter. It was a mistake on my part. And now I know. And so everybody makes mistakes. Everyone doesn't pair up everything the best way every time. And it's definitely a learning curve. It never ends. Never ends. So this is just me getting to know my rabbits better and being more patient. The word patience cannot be stressed enough in this breed. When it comes to breaks, it's another big question. They're not breaking fast enough. I want to show them as a junior, and you don't want them to break too fast, and we'll talk about that with the chestnuts that I'm going to bring out in a few minutes. But let me get her back. She's had quite enough. Okay, so this is one of 3 chestnuts that I kept out of one of my last litters. 11 weeks old. This is the little buck, and you are going to see at 11 weeks old the difference between the 7-week-olds, how they wouldn't set up proud posing. So these guys all pose really proud, as you can see. Boom, right up in the pose, very high. I'm going to try to get you a side shot here. He's probably like, what are you doing? When I let go, he holds up. He's nice and square. They're not going to sit like that forever, of course, but they sit like that long enough. I could have taken several pictures right there. My camera also is not some super duper fast, expensive camera. I bought it several years ago. Actually, I bought it seven years ago, actually, because my son was 2 when we were going to Florida, and I wanted a nice camera. So it's a 7-year-old camera, and it's not anything super fancy, and so it doesn't shoot multiple pictures all in seconds. But right there, like, you can take several pictures. He is able to do this because he is structured correctly, and that's the answer. I really believe that's the answer. They have had very little practice. In fact, every practice they've had, I have videotaped it. I did get them out and groom them before this video, so they had a few minutes. It took me less than 5 minutes to groom all 3 of them, and so that's what. So that's all it took, and that's all the posing practice they've had. They've had like 3 sessions since they were about I think 4 or 6 weeks was the first one, because I was a little late. He is just now starting to shed out. A little tiny bit in the face area. Whoops, sorry buddy. A little tiny bit in the back, if you can even see, if you can even tell. I'm not sure. I'm really happy about how wide he is, and all 3 of them are. He's like, what are you doing to me? No pin bones here. Super excited about that. Very compact. So at 11 weeks old, you can see how woolly he still is. I am so okay with that, because by the time I'm ready for their first show, which is in May, is going to be hopefully their debut, if they have a break, which, you know, there's no indication of a break going on here yet at all. I'm so okay with that. In my experiences, and most breeders, I think, are in agreement of this now, is that if they break too fast, then you're not going to get much of a show career out of them at all. So I'm happy with that. They've started to shed a little bit, and I'm okay with that. What's the matter, buddy? He's like, I'm not happy. He's not happy. You gonna one more for the road, or no? Good boys. Good boys. All right, I'm going to put him back and get out his sister. Okay, so this is Widget. This is the buck sister. I haven't named that buck yet. So she has a little bit of hay in here. Easy, mamas. I'm just going to gently try to get that out. Okay, so I like Widget a little bit better than the buck. She's better. Her coloring's better. She has better eye rings. For anybody interested in a Goody, you need nice eye rings. She definitely has much better eye rings. She will also sit up in a nice proud pose very quickly, as you can see. Now I could be shooting pictures, boom, 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 shoot, shoot, shoot. You know, even if your camera's slow, even if you didn't have the right setting, I mean, she's 11 weeks old. She's doing great. She would have let you take a lot of pictures right there, and it's because she's perfectly square. She's very comfortable in this position, and that is why she's able to sit there nicely. She's shutting out more than the other 2 at all. I don't know if you can tell in the camera. Oh, let's turn around. She's like, what are you doing? They're not used to all this turning around, and I always pose the other way because of, there we go. I don't know if you can tell, she's starting to shed out in the back here. Still has some hay. Again, nice wide back. Love the wide back. And I'm going to be honest with you about what I don't like about these guys either. Even though I've come a long way with my Goody program, there's always improvement. I think their face is a little narrow. I think I'm going to not be as happy with the face once they shed out. It's not as wide as I would like it to be. But there is no such thing as a perfect bunny. I'm working on building this barn. The coloring is slowly but surely coming. She's amazing. I love her. I'm definitely going to show her, but I need to figure out how to widen that face up a little bit. Her and her brother. The other sister that I'm going to get out is a little bit better. But this is the difference between this is going to be the difference between competitive and just show quality. These guys are definitely show quality bunnies, show quality Lionheads, no doubt. They have gorgeous little clean ears. They're shedding out. They have gorgeous manes. I have no reason to think that they're not going to keep them based on their breeding, and you know, only time will tell. But I'm going to show you the difference. If you look at her, and I'm getting ready to get her sister out, and you'll see the difference. Okay, so this is Wow Wow Wubsy. Okay, now ever since she was just a baby, she stood out in the and this is why, right there, boom. That's why she's one of the reasons she stood out. She will pose till the cows come home, even if you have to go get the cows. So she squares up awesomely. She has a super proud pose. And she will just sit and sit and sit, and I can't be happier with her. Her face is a little bit wider than her brother and sister as well, but she's super stacked, and she is actually super fuzzy still, but she is shedding out. I took a comb to them today, and I got all kinds of stuff just coming out. Not so much now because I already combed her, but stuff was definitely coming out. So I'm happy that it started, but again, 11 weeks, I'm happy that it's just starting at 11 weeks. I will still get a junior career out of them, and hopefully I will get a senior career out of them as well, with the slow shed and slow break. So I am super happy, but she, to me, is the difference between competitive and show quality with her brother and sister. I think she's going to be the one to beat on the table, you know, for the Chestnuts, and maybe even AOV. We'll see. I will say that we have some gorgeous blacks in New England right now on the AOV table that are going to be really hard to beat. So, but that just makes me have to up my game and keep doing better and better. So those are these guys, and these are just some reasons why I'm keeping the ones I've chosen. Again, no pin bones happening here. Super excited about that. And still very clean ears, even at 11 weeks. Their ears are staying nice and clean, so I'm very happy about that as well. So I am now going to show you a couple senior does to show you a little bit difference what I'm talking about between competitive versus show quality. All three of the does I'm getting ready to show you are show quality. They all have legs. They have one, and not just with 2 or 3 on the table, like legitimate respectful wins with, you know, several breeders and several rabbits on the table. Which to me is important to identify that, because you can get a leg with just 3 breeders and 5 rabbits, and you know, and to me it is what it is. But I just like to make sure that if I'm talking about, for me personally, it means it was what I call a respectable win. So I'm going to put her in the back end, but as you can see, she's ready for the show table. I think she's going to do great, just because she loves to pose. Hopefully she'll retain that for me, and doesn't get stressed out at a show, which is it's a whole nother story for another day. But let me grab out a couple more does for you. Okay, so this is Arwen. Arwen was part of the grooming video. She's the one I caught a hot mess. Arwen is a show quality rabbit. She has a leg. She places consistently in the top end of the class. I personally don't care for her as much because I don't like the ears, but I'm an ear person, so that's probably why. She also does not like to pose, as you can see. She is a little long in the back, and as she matures, she has definitely shown to be a little more. So she is now for me brood quality. Even though she can still compete on the table, I don't see her, with the competition that we have at the level that we have now, really grand championing her. Could she get a couple more legs? Yeah, she probably could. But I think for me, she's more useful to me to get some show babies out of. So I actually have bred her because she's got mane to die for. I mean, this mane it's amazing. It's thick. This is her senior mane. She already molted out and came back with this, and I'm like more than thrilled. I couldn't be more thrilled. I bred her to a small, compact little black buck that also carries REW. So I'm hoping that will help correct the longness, and it'll also clean up her ears a little bit. In the babies, it'll clean up the baby's ears, because he has done a great job for that in my program, for that. So this is an example. I mean, she is a show quality rabbit, but is she competitive? In my opinion, no. And I have 2 other does that are beating her out now, who are also seniors. So that tells me that it's time to use her as a brood, because she can, hopefully give it to me. The thing is, I will say there's a little tiny bit of pin bone going on. Not horribly bad, but not as nice as my chestnuts. I can still feel it. I don't want to feel it at all in my program, so I'm being more picky about it. But that's Arwen. So she's definitely a show quality bunny. There's no doubt about it. But let's see if we can find something that's a little more competitive. Okay, so this is Couture's Cosette. Cosette was listed as a baby on Diane's site. I immediately fell in love with her, and I said, I have to have her. So I got her. She has not disappointed me at all. So she is definitely a competitive little doe, and I'll show you why. Now, she's not going to be happy with me. I bred her. She had 2 babies, her first litter, and one of them was a peanut. I could tell right off the bat. So I actually took them and fostered them to another doe. I had 4 does actually kindle all within 24 hours, thankfully, that I was able to foster. So she, I feel really bad, but unfortunately, because it's still only March in Maine, we still get really cold weather, and I knew that Peanut's not going to make it, and of course, it has since, of course, not. And having a singleton in the nest just wasn't really an option with the weather that we have, so it was the best thing to do. But I do feel bad because I think she would have been a good mama's. But so what I wound up doing was I actually already rebred her back, and she was so ready, believe me. And it actually, even right now when I put her on the table, she was lifting for me. And if she'll cooperate, hopefully. But as you can see, you see how compact she is and how she goes right up into that pose. She's very compact little doe. Awesome mane, beautiful, beautiful little mane, great little wide face. Really just will sit in that pose for you. Yes, Mama, I know. She's like, why are you messing with me? I feel bad. I get a little too, I tell you, I baby these guys around. I felt really bad taking that baby from her. I really did, but it was in the best interest. She is a competitive doe, okay? And so I can't wait to continue to show her. This is her senior. This is her as a senior. I mean, she's gorgeous, and the judges really do like her, and I have no problem. I have no doubt that I'm going to grand champion her. So I just she didn't actually want to go to the last show that we were at because I had bred her, and the show previous, because the season hadn't started yet. Let's see, she did get a leg her first time out, which was last fall, which was the last show of the season for me, and that's when I picked her up. And so I'm looking forward to showing her. She should be all set. If she has the babies, she may even be able to go to the May. It's a late May. Oh, I'm sorry, Mamas. A late May show. I'm grooming. I'm not sure. We'll see. But anyway, this is a competitive little doe compared to Arwen, who is show quality but not competitive because she's too long in the back. She's got too long of ears. But again, it definitely has to do with your region, where you're showing, who your competition is, you know, what the level of quality is, and that's what I mean by competition. The level of quality of the rabbits that are on the table with you. So that is just my take on it. There are breeders who are probably going to disagree with me. I know one of the things that a lot of breeders will disagree with me is probably my critiquing my babies too young, but I'm okay with that. This is the way I want to do it. I don't want to hold on to rabbits that in my mind, are just not going to make the cut in the end. I'd rather move them on and make room for the new litters that are coming. I want to know. And I could be wrong, and I've kept one. I just did this to myself. I hung on to a little Roo buck that was amazing as a baby, and he turned out in the end to be too narrow faced. He didn't have much mane. You know, he was like 13, 14 weeks old, and I'm like looking at him, and compared to my Chestnut babies, I was like, why am I holding on to him? He went to a wonderful home in Vermont as a pet. They are ecstatic over him, and he's going to live the life of Riley. But I held on to him way too long, and I kind of knew in my heart of hearts that I was wishing for something and just hoping that if I held on long enough, because so many people say to do that, that I might see something different, but it didn't happen. So this is my experience. This is my journey with the Lionheads. Everybody's going to have their own opinions. Everyone has their own journey, and you have to learn as you go. But the main thing is to just keep learning. You just have to keep learning, and admit your mistakes, like I just did. I admitted that I did a breeding that I probably should have. I knew better in my heart of hearts. I think I did, because I'm like, I really need a more compact doe or buck for her. You know, but I have one potential out of the 4, so I'll hang on to that one a little longer. The other 3, I'm not going to, because I know better. You know, I'm at a point where I just know better. So, I hope that somebody learned something from this today. And if there's any questions, please comment. I welcome feedback, definitely welcome feedback. And I'm still learning, and I hope everybody else is learning as well. I pre-groomed everyone today for the video. I do have a grooming video specifically for that, if anybody is interested in looking at that. The YouTube channel is Whispering Pines Micro Farm. Micro Farm is one word. Please like the channel. Please like or dislike the videos. You know, whatever your opinion is, please leave a comment. Feedback is always wonderful, and I hope that someone is learning something and enjoying the videos. I enjoy making them, and I basically pick my topics based on questions that I'm receiving through my Facebook page, which is also Whispering Pines Micro Farm, or just on Lionhead specific pages on Facebook, where certain questions are being asked over and over. Sometimes the responses are erroneous. And so that's, and rather than get on there and start a debate, I'll do a video so I can actually show what I'm talking about and not just talk about it or type about it. So my feet are freezing. It's still cold here, and I'm going to go in and get her back. She's not happy with me, but as you can see, she's still somewhat in a pose, not in a show pose, but she's still sitting up somewhat. I'll get her back into her cage and go from there. So have a great evening, everyone, and continue loving your lion heads, and everyone have a good night. Thank you. Bye-bye.